Hello and welcome to the Watering Hole. Thanks for checking out this clip. Don't forget to like and subscribe because that'll make the baby Jesus cry, and I know how much you guys love making the baby Jesus cry. Hello and welcome to my channel. Vice Rhino here, Cirrus over there.
Maybe.
You say that every time.
I didn't say I don't say maybe every time.
Not every time.
No.
I mean, to be fair, I do say hello and welcome to my channel every time.
Right, but it's just like I say insert into video tagline here every time. Everybody's got to have a shtick. It grounds us. Also, Token White Dude, thank you very much for resubscribing. I appreciate it.
Hat. Can't stay long, but can stay long enough for hat. Thank you for the hat, Jassa. Yeah, hi, stuff. Things.
Hi, stuff.
And junk.
And things and junk. I had tornadoes ripping through.
That's what she said.
So as you leave the actual neighborhood that my house is technically part of, as you leave the neighborhood, there was I don't want to fully dox myself, but there was a place that had a bunch of statues there, and those statues don't exist anymore. They have been ripped up, and their knees have been shattered.
Missing statues. Okay, go on.
All right. This is slightly less comfortable now, but
okay, come on, sirs.
Look, just mentioning the tornadoes coming through, somebody on Blue Sky guessed my county. And I was like,
is it the one where Marjorie Taylor Greene's in charge?
Well, yes, but remember, county versus district. Counties and districts are not necessarily the same garbage. Okay. Fine. A district can have multiple counties within it.
Oh, yay. Progress only. Says, I forgot to send my email to VR, but I officially got doxxed for the first time, and at least one of our commissioners got credible threats on their life. It's been a fun week. Also, the email they did send was they passed a resolution in Bay City, Michigan to say, hey, we're going to be a safe place for people no matter what their immigration status is. And it passed. And yay, everybody was happy. And then the mayor was like, no, fuck that, I veto.
The mayor going, I don't want my city to be a safe place for people.
Yeah,
that makes me angry.
That's just, when I read that, it was just like, oh my fucking god, what kind of a douche canoe is that?
The kind of a douche canoe that deserves eggs on their house. I'm not saying that anybody should go and do that. I'm just saying that, like, in the grand scheme of egg prices, they have gone down. So it's not as bad.
No. They've stayed about the same here.
So,
although I have, maybe they changed a little bit because I've changed what grocery store I shop at because I have started shopping at the one that's Canadian owned, and yeah, its owner is a billionaire asshole who price gouged everybody during the pandemic, but so was every other fucking store. So what does that matter? Big Mike says, have to donate, razzed you about trucks and 10U covers a couple weeks ago. If you're ever up in Thunder Bay, we'll go for a beer and curse the Dofo cons. Yeah, no, I don't foresee myself ever being up in Thunder Bay in the near future.
If you were,
lovely up there. It is lovely up there.
Jeez, So yesterday, because the tornadoes had come through and ripped up our net lines, I got out of the house and went to one of the Democrat town hall meetings instead of being, instead of staying home and just kind of existing. I figured, hey, why not go to one of these? There was one happening within like an hour of my house. Perfect timing. Let's go. This one was called Musk or Us. And it was hosted by Nikema Williams, who is representative of District 5 in Georgia. And I have some thoughts on what I witnessed here. So I started a whole thread of this on Blue Sky. If you want the details for everything that went on during this town hall, please go check that out. This is definitely not me advertising my Blue Sky. It definitely totally is. But I said, the beginning of this is a Democrat coming on stage to tell us that we have Medicare, Medicaid, and SNAP benefits all on the chopping block, stuff that anybody who's plugged into politics already knows. And then she had two experts with her to be sounding boards as well. One named Eric, who was an expert in why is my brain blanking? Who's an expert in constitutional law, and another person who I believe was a epidemiologist. I don't remember the exact. No. Epidemiologist was later, but there were two experts there for talking about different things as well. All right, the last one was more focused on kids in Georgia specifically. Her name was Laura. She was from Georgians for a Better Future. So in terms of bringing people to talk about things that were important, she did do that for the first 30 minutes. And then the next hour was questions and answers. And this is where things got a little out of hand. And holy shit. So the first question from the audience, there was a gentleman who was about my age, it seemed. And he got up and he just held up a piece of paper and said, "Do you know what this is?" He was in the front row, so Miss Williams was able to read it. And it was the denial of all of his medications and Medicaid dropping him because of the recent budget cuts.
Mm-hmm.
And he noted that one of his medications he needs to live is $1,000 a month. The other one is $300 a month. And he has been dropped off of everything. Now, if you're not in the States, we have a program that is supposed to help with this called Cobra. Anybody who's used Cobra can promise you it's the worst fucking thing on the goddamn planet. You know how when you have insurance, your medication prices go up? Again, this is not a thing most people know. But if you look at your prices, Saki, without insurance, was paying $160 for estradiol. With insurance, $300 for estradiol. But insurance covers it, so there's that. Cobra steps in to be your insurance, basically, but it asks you to pay all the premiums, and it keeps the higher negotiated prices with all of your medications. So if you have a $1,000 medication on insurance, that would have dropped to like $500 without insurance. If you have Cobra, yeah, you're insured, quote, quote, but it's still costing you that $1,000. Everybody who's used Cobra can tell you it is one of the worst goddamn things on the planet. Basically, we have a program that's supposed to fix this. It doesn't fix this, but Republicans get to point to it and say we have a program that fixes this. Anyway, he said, first, for all the Trump voters, is this what you wanted? But then afterwards, he looked at Miss Williams and said, but for you, why the hell should I trust you? Why should I trust anybody in our government right now when this is what's happening to me? I paid my tax dollars. I did my part. I did everything I was supposed to do. I voted for Harris. I voted for you. I did everything right. Why am I suffering? Why am I not allowed to live?
Mm-hmm.
And that was the first question. There was a moment later where in the middle of another question, a lady sitting right in front of me stepped up and broke everything to basically go on a 5-minute tirade about how Musk stole the election. And she's done all this research that shows that he stole the election. The research did not actually show that. Listening just to how she explained it, she only came up with 4 million votes, which was still not enough for Harris to have won the election. But still, the feeling of Democrats didn't do their part in making sure that we had a free and fair election, because a lot of the conversation here was about how we'll get them next time. We need a free and fair election to stop all the bad things from happening. And then you can tell how that would get somebody who's made this their passion project really fucking angry, going, why the fuck do you think this was a free and fair election? A billionaire bankrolled the damn thing. There were several people who spoke here. One of them was an epidemiologist who said that as an epidemiologist, one of her jobs as a PhD epidemiologist is not to look at the fact that a sickness is in an area, but to look at what the underlying goal of the sickness is and the underlying cause of the sickness is. So like the underlying goal of a sickness matters because if we're looking at something like COVID, it is a sickness that cannot try to kill you, else it cannot propagate. if the sickness's goal is to just kill you, the sickness will stop being in the population after a very short period of time. But she said that because of all of that research, because of what she had done for a living, she is thoroughly convinced that Make America Great Again is just an attempt to make America white again, which I did mention before the show. District 5 is in a very urban area of Atlanta, so most of the population here was black. Makes sense that would be a focus. But it also makes perfect sense because that's kind of what Christian nationalism aims for anyway.
Wasn't there I forget whether it was Trump or Musk, but one of them like just came right out and said essentially that like, yeah. Oh no. Okay, it wasn't said. It was Trump repealed the executive order that ended segregation in federal contractors.
Fennec says I was reading Cersei's thread during this and it was a fucking ride. Mm-hmm. There was another question from a member of the audience that said, "Can Trump be impeached?" And Miss Williams had to respond.
If either the Democrats would need to all have a spine, and we need a few Republicans to also have a spine for that to happen.
Yes. Because the issue is not impeaching Trump. You can impeach Trump a billion times. What you need is for there to be
in the Senate.
Yeah, you need the conviction in the Senate, and for the conviction in the Senate, you need a 60% majority. And we have not been able to manage anything even approaching that in a very, very long time. Again, I don't want to get into every single thing that happened here.
There already have been multiple articles of impeachment filed against him.
Yeah, but they're not going to do anything. Like this, our Congress is limp-dicked here. So you said what Trump repealed desegregation. I'm confused. What? Oh, maybe you could give some context for that.
Trump repealed the executive order that ended that ended segregation in for federal contractors. I don't.
Yay!
That's all the context that I have. I'm just like. So for me, that's like it's basically them saying we're going to drop the pretext and just say out loud that it's about making things white again. It's like, what other reason would there be for repealing that? Like, it's an executive order. Executive orders don't have the, pork fatting of I'm trying to sneak this thing through while nobody's looking. It's, I'm the president that do what I say.
Yeah, Sarah Chikorita clarified my statement. It's 60% to get an impeachment on the floor. It's then 2/3 to actually convict through the trial after that. Basically all to say, the only people with any power over Trump right now are the courts, period. Those are the only people with any power over Trump right now, and even then...
Roberts came out and spoke out against him. Like when... what issue was it on?
It's been a few things. Him and Barrett both.
There have been so many, and every one is like a huge deal. Like all of our stories, except for one tonight, are about Canada and the Canada-U.S. relations, because there's just so many, and this isn't even scratching the surface of all the crap that's going on. On the lighter side, though, I now have a new soundbite to use whenever we have technical difficulties.
Everything's computer.
Everything's computer. And of course, followed up with,
I love Tesla.
I love Tesla.
Everything computer.
The end of this town hall meeting.
Oh yeah, it was the kicking off a judge. So Trump was calling for the impeachment of a judge that blocked one of his EOs,
which you're technically not allowed to do.
Yeah. No, that's a big no-no, and that actually got Roberts to be like, hey, you shouldn't do that. And like that's not a thing that the Supreme Court does very often. So I feel like at least a couple of the conservative ones are starting to kind of regret what they gave him, the power that they gave him.
I mean, literally, a question that was asked by one of the liberal judges was, if Trump decided to assassinate somebody, and then you just have them going, I think it was Clarence Thomas who was just like, yeah, that's fine. No, it's not fine. What the fuck is wrong with all of you? The end of the town hall Again, there's a lot more stuff that happened besides that. But the end of the town hall was one much older lady, I think like 70s, who said that she has been a protester for most of her life. She has been a card-carrying Democrat since 74 and has been having to fight for her rights from that moment till now, and said, it's time for you to put your boots on the ground, put your feet to the street. This congresswoman can't handle everything. She can't fight every battle, which on the one hand, yes, you're right. On the other hand, I don't fucking care. She still should be doing, all of them should be doing a better job. Williams made a big fuss about, I was one of the ones who walked out during one of Trump's speeches. Like, congratulations, you did that. Now what have you done for the people of District 5 as they're losing their Medicare? Anyway, this person pointed out, you need to put your boots to the ground, you need to get on the street, you need to protest in multiple cities, and that she'll be having a protest from 11 to 12 in the Atlanta Capitol, specifically protesting House Bill 397 this Saturday. So if anybody is wanting to go to that, that is a thing that I suggest doing, because as much as I've said protests don't do anything, they do put you in contact with people around you who are willing to get up and do things. And most importantly, they allow you to have conversations with people that are not on Facebook, Discord, all these other places that are, let's be honest at this point, really, really, really highly monitored. Because after what's happened recently with Mahmoud Khalil, you might want to be a little careful with how you protest. So
and speak along similar lines. So I was excited this year. I was invited to speak at the annual Ark Encounter protest, and I said yes to that. I just emailed the organizer today to be like, hey, unless things make a really big change for the better in the next couple months, I am not comfortable crossing the border. And her response was, yeah, I get it. I'm based in Ontario too. I might not be going either. So like, this is it. And like, I used to have my Nexus card where like I could just hop across the border anytime I wanted with minimal security. They'd barely ask any questions. Several times a week, I'd be over in Buffalo, just like taking kids to the science center, buying gas because it was cheaper. Dairy products were usually cheaper. I don't think the eggs are cheaper anymore. I think we win on the eggs now. But yeah, I used to cross the border all the time, at least once or twice a week. We had memberships at the Buffalo Zoo and the Buffalo Science Center, so we take the kids there all the time. And I'm not comfortable crossing anymore. Like there have been Canadians. There have been Canadians detained by ICE. And one of them was detained because she was applying for a work visa, and the paper that she had didn't have company letterhead on it. So they were like, "Oh, that's suspicious. You're under arrest."
What?
Yeah, and they detained her for 2 weeks for that.
For no, that's literally for no reason.
Yeah,
that is a so.
So I'm like,
you're familiar with the term "papers, please,"
I'm like,
right?
Yeah, I see that, and I'm like, you know what? Hundreds to thousands of people cross that border every fucking day. It probably won't happen to me, but if it does, I can't spend 2 weeks in jail over nothing.
No, you can't.
I got a family to take care of. And clueless experts point out, didn't a French newspaper just report today that some French researcher got denied entry into the U.S. because he was critical about Trump's science cuts on social media? Maybe.
That's fucking terrifying.
Because I've been critical about Trump on social media. Very, very critical. Yeah, please do not cross the border. I don't want Cyrus's next crowdfunding goal to be your legal defense fund. No, I'm not crossing the border. I'm not going into the States right now. I said, unless it gets significantly better, I'm just not going.
Yeah.
And I'm not alone in this. Like, I have a friend who I have permission to share this story, but she wants to remain anonymous, but she's from the UK. She has her green card, and she goes back to visit family once a year. And right now they're planning the next visit. They're planning it such that, like, they're basically assuming that she's going to be denied entry back into the States, because that's what's happening to a lot of green card holders right now. So that they are planning around that for their next family visit. And they are planning long term to just move out of the States. So,
which is, again, a crazy thing for people to do who are here legally and should be allowed to operate legally in the country. But again, we've seen this shit happen very recently where, oh, you're a little too critical of Trump. I guess that means you're going to get separated from your family. This is what happened to Mahmoud Khalil. This is exactly what happened to him. He was a little too critical. And so they went, nope, you were doing an anti-Semitism because you don't like genocide happening in Palestine. That means you're going to get in trouble. And it's, can I just say, it's a stroke of genius. It is a stroke of genius. Evil genius, but still a stroke of genius to use the anti-Semitism label on this shit. That way, anybody who is a very low information voter, which is most of Trump's base, will see that and go, wait, I thought y'all liberals didn't like people being anti-Semitic. I thought you'd be on board with something like this. Do you not like it happening when it happens to one of your own? Like, man.
And then they'll all turn around. It is an
evil fucking genius plot.
Did you see the reaction on Twitter to the JFK files being released?
No, I didn't. I'm
there
not
are
on
few
Twitter
mentions
anymore.
of the Israeli Secret Service. And so they're all being like, oh, Israel assassinated JFK. Like, everybody, especially Nick Fuentes. Nick Fuentes didn't, like, some of them tried to dance around it. Nick Fuentes did not.
Well, of course, he doesn't have to.
Yeah.
He never dances around anything other than the cookie question.
Like, I'm thinking back to all the Twitter interactions I had back during his first term, where people would say that, like, oh, I'm only saying that because Orange Man bad, and so anything he does has to be bad. And I'm sitting here now like, yeah, Orange Man bad, Orange Man very bad. If you disagree, fuck off. I don't want to have a conversation with you anymore. And that's why I'm not on Twitter anymore. Oh, do you remember JP Sears?
No, I don't.
So he was that comedian who, I don't want to say he got famous, but like he had a viral video that was his break for his career, where like he was making fun of
oh wait, hold
vegans.
on.
I
know who this is now.
Yeah,
He's
he was the guy with the long hair.
Yeah, never mind. I know who you're talking about.
Yeah, so he had it wasn't like funny, but it was like, that's kind of entertaining video about vegans, and that made him famous, and everybody thought he was kind of left-leaning, but then he went hardcore MAGA.
Okay,
so,
I remember. I've done videos on him.
Yeah, so while I was hunting for tweets today, I ran across a sketch that he did about how liberals are getting so stupid or whatever, and it was like someone was painting a swastika on his Cybertruck, and he's like, hey, you know I have you on the cameras on the truck, right? I was like, yeah, so it's my right to do it because I have free speech. We're like, okay, nobody has used free speech as an excuse for why it's okay to vandalize Cybertrucks.
No.
That's just dumb. That doesn't even rise to the level of straw man. But look, it finished off with like the person was like recording him being like, I'm going to show the world that you have a Cybertruck and so you support Elon Musk. And then he's like, well, where are you going to post it? On Twitter? Like, yeah, well, Twitter's owned by Elon Musk. Well, I didn't think of that. And he's presenting this as like liberals are getting stupid.
How is that even a compelling argument?
I don't know, because like I'm sitting there like the only reason I'm on Twitter right now is to collect screenshots of people being stupid, because I spend all of my social media time now on Blue Sky, not Twitter, because Twitter is a cesspit. Like, so how is that even a thing?
Like I I made a video recently about Musk, and in there I basically said, look, maybe it's time for us all to just hop off of Twitter, period. And since I've done that, I have not posted on that site, nor have I logged into the site.
So
I may go there to check my DMs, and that's about it.
So I still post on Twitter, but it's just my weekly, I uploaded a video post. And the only reason I do that is because if I stop posting, if I deactivate my account or whatever, then the handle could free up and somebody could impersonate me or whatever. I'm not terribly concerned about that, but I figure like my once a week post of this is my video never got any engagement anyway. So it's not like this is business for Elon, really. And,
I'll be honest, that's a compelling argument for me not to fully deactivate mine, only because I've not only had the scandal where my channel was stolen, but I also had a bit of time where there was an impersonator on my not on my account, but there was an impersonator of me on Twitter that was trying very hard to be a problem.
Yeah, so that's what that's the only reason I haven't deactivated my account, is just to prevent impersonation. So.
That's fair. That is fair. Now, in general, I am making an effort to try to get rid of a lot of my social media use in general.
Yeah, no, I've been posting a lot less even on Blue Sky.
And one of the main reasons is that there's been a few studies that actually showed a causal link now between dementia and short-form content. Overconsumption of short-form content can actually... The way it was worded is because short-form content is not something that the brain tries to remember, it's not something that it makes an active effort to remember. It is just a thing that happens and then it is gone, and it lets your brain shut off. It's the equivalent of choosing not to work that muscle, and that is one of the things that is a trigger for dementia to happen. It is just that muscle atrophying at that point.
So that actually makes me feel good about myself, because I the way I consume content, I actually get kind of annoyed when I like find a YouTube video that I'm interested in and oh my god, it's less than half an hour. That's nothing.
Yeah, I'm very happy when a video that I click is long enough for me to get errands done while I'm in the car. Because it's just background noise. It's background noise, and I want to learn something. I want to get some information. And it can be about anything. It doesn't have to be about anything in specific.
Yeah, like, I mean, everybody here knows I watch some more news. Whenever their videos are under an hour, I'm a little bit disappointed. And
yeah, that's entirely fair.
This might come through in my videos. Like my last couple videos have been like under an hour. Well, not the AIG smushed together one, but that doesn't count. And I'm like, I just thinking back to early me, where it's like, oh, my video got to 20 minutes. I better split it into 2 parts.
To be fair, though, the YouTube algorithm was very different back then.
Yeah, but then there's now where it's like, hey, like my video is under an hour. I must be slacking. Yeah.
Yeah. Also, freaking Dark Excalibur, why? We're talking about Trump, and you have to maybe deal with other shit that I'm not here for.
What's
Fine. Up? It's just fucking It's that. It's that, Rhino. It's that. And you knew it was that.
Yeah,
God fucking why? Why are there so many of them?
I have all of them.
Do you collect these like they're Pokemon?
Yes. I have a standing order with my editor that anytime you do an uwu, I get an MP3 of that uwu.
Oh my god.
And it's on random on my one button.
I want less of life. That's what I want.
Okay, there is another new thing on my soundboard that I'm not sure where else I'm going to fit this in. But this well, like, I'm just going to play it. This I don't know how to explain it, so I'm just going to play it.
Just play it, because I have to do more stuff now, I guess.
What does Mommy need?
Sybian.
So Mommy needs a Sybian?
Yeah.
That was my 6-year-old.
Okay.
Saying that Mommy needs a Sybian.
What is a Sybian?
You don't know what a fucking Sybian is? What kind of degen
No.
are you? What kind of weak-ass degen are you? If you Google that, do not have it visible to stream.
You know what? We're just gonna do it live.
No, do not visible to stream. It's not gross or anything. You're not going to be offended, but Twitch will be offended.
Let's see here. Huh. It's not letting me see this at all. Oh, okay, I see.
Neuromnifus says, what's a Sybian? It's not Sybian, it's Sybians. Sybian. It is it's a sex toy. It's basically an artificial guy with a dick that a woman can ride, and it is apparently very, very good. So I was just minding my own business in the house when I heard my child yelling out, "Mommy, you need a Sybian! Mommy, you need a Sybian!" And I'm just like, what the fuck? Okay, several things went through my head. Like, how does this child know what a Sybian is? Why does this child know what a Sybian is? Why does my partner need a Sybian? Am I going to be replaced soon? Like, I need to know the details or whatever. Then it turned out when I investigated a little further, it was they were playing Minecraft together, and that was her trying to say obsidian. Obsidian. So I was very freaked out for a second there. It's like, nope, they're just looking for obsidian. Okay.
That's much different.
It is very much different and very
That's
much more
very
wholesome.
much different. Yeah, that is. Lore, also, thank you for redeeming your points for something far better than that other shit. Oh, wow. There. That's at least better than the other shit.
I love Tesla.
Never gets old. Asina Salan says pedantic Rhino does a pedantic. You know what? I'm gonna come out and say it. So everybody who listen, I have referenced the Puzzle and a Thunderstorm podcasts enough to, like, you guys know that I listen to them. It drives me fucking nuts when No Illusions, who is a self-described pedant who gets bothered by people getting little things that don't actually matter that much wrong, drives me fucking nuts every time he says acrost. There is no T on the end of the word across. It is not acrost. It is just across.
Yeah?
That's the other word. That's it.
Oh, is that another one that you...
That was the one I've been trying to remember.
Okay. Apparently. This goes back to our conversation a while ago about I seen it. I seen this. I seen that. And how she thought that was a Niagara or Ontario thing. Apparently acrost was the other one that she couldn't think of. And the fact that Noah does it and he's from Georgia means that it's probably not specific to my region.
Fair.
Yeah.
Irregardless of that. I knew I'd get you with that one.
So fun fact, that wasn't actually a Bushism. That word has been around for longer than Bush. He's just the one that got it into the cultural zeitgeist.
Yep. So for giggles, when somebody got really mad at me using that word in a video, I just went onto Google and found the definition and just went, that's weird that it's in the dictionary. Anyway, I come from the era where everybody told me ain't isn't a word, and then for half of my life it's been in the dictionary.
Yeah.
It's weird. Words get made the fuck up. It's how words work.
Yeah, turns out the random sounds that I make with my mouth hole have no inherent meaning. Anyway, so yeah, that's it for news. Only 5 items today. 'Cause I'm
Republican
slacking.
kitty diddlers.
Yeah,